Mic check. Welcome to On the Mic with Ray White, where we share life lessons, encourage self-reflection, and equip you to take action. My name is Ray White, and hold up. I am juiced. That's a new one. I had to get the inflection on that one. I am juiced. Thank you. We're taking the time to listen to this episode today. And it's been a couple weeks. How y'all doing? My On the Mic listeners, OTM listeners. I got to figure out a name. To get y'all, to categorize the tribe of people listening to On the Mic with Ray White. Regardless, I hope y'all are doing well. Merry Christmas to you, by the way. We're dropping this episode on Christmas Day. I hope you're spending some wonderful time with your family during this holiday season, because it's really important for us to be focused on the family that we're gathered around during the holiday season, because no place you better be. You know what I'm saying? So, why is this episode dropping on Christmas Day? Well, I got tired of waiting. As you may have heard on the last episode of Step Into Your Creativity, as I shared just a year of the On the Mic podcast journey, because, it's been a year since we've done this and learned a lot, experienced a lot, felt a lot. There was just a lot going on that I shared briefly on that episode, so please check that out. But I mentioned in the episode that I was going to take a little break, take a couple weeks to kind of think, process, and revitalize myself for the new year, what the new year will look like for the podcast, for myself. Just how do I continue to focus in and narrow in on what it is I want this platform to be, and align that with the goals and the dreams and the desires that I set out for myself that I've been feeling for quite some time. And as I was in the process of preparing for this, I was just like, all right. So I was going to start this on January 8th of 2020. Wow, 2020. It's crazy. It's coming up quick. And I was like, all right, cool. I got a couple of things that lined up for January. Get started on the 8th, lines up nice and neat and whatnot. And then I sat back. I was doing my processing, and I'm like, why not start on the 1st? I'm like, why not kick off the new year? I was doing some visuals. I'm like, let's just start on the new year. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm like, why not start on Christmas Day? Why not start right now? Because I just got tired of waiting. I was sitting here thinking, what am I waiting for? What am I waiting for to get me going, to get to just starting this whole podcasting thing? And sure, it is important, like I stated, that I needed time to rest. I needed time to process and think through some things. But then as I was going through that, I did have a couple of insecurities, a couple of limiting beliefs that was just tearing me up inside. I'm like, I had this idea, and I didn't like the idea because I didn't like it. I didn't really talk to anybody about it. I just said I didn't like it. And I really just didn't feel good. And so I went back to the drawing board. I revisited all my old stuff. I revisited everything I've written in the vault, and just I got so much stuff around. And I'm like, all right, let me just get a minute to process. And as I started putting things together and having some good conversations with some folks, I realized I'm like, just go. Just plant and go. There has to be some level of processing and being responsible with the things that I want to create and share and have a direction, but just do it. Learn as you go, learn as you're doing things, and not just waiting for something to kick you off to get you going, or thinking that it has to be neat in a perfect bow like Christmas. There it is. I had to tie it in somehow. Anyway, I got tired of waiting, so I started going. And it just got me thinking, I'm like, why do we wait? Why do we have to wait for January 1 of a new year in order to get us into the gym, or to get us starting on our goals, or to get us writing the book or whatever? Why can't we just start on July 26th? Why do we have to wait for a particular event to kick us off, to kick us into gear? And sometimes some of those events are out of our control. If, let's say, unfortunately, you lost your job, and by you losing your job, that finally got you going to start your own business, and now you're moving into that space. In hindsight, it all worked out, but in the moment, that sucks. Nobody normally wants that. Or is a voluntary kickoff, right? You voluntarily say, I'm starting this project on this particular date because of X, Y, and Z. And some of those things, X, Y, and Z, might be valid, like because of work or vacations, or just things are lining up in life that it's like, hey, it's probably best if I just started here. But if you don't have a life event or you could justify some of the reasons, but if some of those reasons are like, I'm scared, or I'm a little timid, I don't think that's going to sound good, or you know what, I just want to wait, just keep pushing it off. The longer you keep pushing it off, the longer it'll take for you to get going. And then by then, you will be wishing that you would just already got started, because by the time you get to the date that you were supposed to start, you'll probably be a lot better, or you'll have more of a awareness of how to craft your skills, or craft your message, or craft whatever it is that you're starting, because you've already got a couple of opportunities under your belt. At work, we call this, an iterative process when it comes to working with projects. So like the agile mindset and agile perspective for project management, or just any type of development, where you go through this process where you're prototyping and you're testing and you're building, you're validating, you're testing, you're checking for feedback, and then you're for little parts of the process over and over until you get it right. And it's just a continuous improvement process. And one of the things in that is like, okay, you just start, like get the idea, put it on paper, and show somebody, get their feedback, go back to the drawing board, make it better. It's just an iterative process until you get it to the point where it's automatic and it's a good system and it works really well. And then now you're just on maintenance mode and you're sustaining the growth and the success that you're having. But you got to start. And if you're waiting for something to kick you off, if you're waiting for something to get you going, and it's going to be even harder when that day comes, because you're going to find a new excuse. You're going to find a new excuse to get you going. And it's just, let's develop better cycles. Let's develop positive cycles than the negative cycles that we've created for ourselves. And the negative cycle is waiting for a start date to get you going rather than just starting now. If you know what you need to do, or if you identify that you just need to just take that first step, take it today. Take it today, whatever it looks like. For me, my first step of this whole podcast was literally getting to this microphone and recording. That was step one. And then step two was sending it to a couple people to get their feedback. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I got to send it to a couple folks. I'm not going to send it to everybody, but I'm going to send it to like 4 or 5 people and see what they thought, and got some decent feedback on that, some great feedback, and some things that was like, hey, try these things out. And I was like, you know what? Let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's put it out there. Let's see what happens. And just through that process, I learned more. I gained more experience. And I'm also hoping that I'm impacting more people through this. And whether it is a major impact, or if it's just one person that is like, hey, I found that really valuable, that gives me more encouragement to just keep going. But if I would have waited, who knows how long it would have taken for me to get to this point where I could comfortably step up and handle this and deliver messages and talk to people and practice my speaking, practice my leadership and whatnot through this platform. So I just want to tell you, stop waiting. 2020, 2030, whatever, man. Just like, if you got something on your mind and heart that you feel like you want to step into, that is part of your purpose, or you think it's part of your purpose, or you're like, I don't know, I kind of like that, just take the step and try it. If you want to set up yourself for a better future, or you just want to learn a new skill, or you just want to step into that new environment, do it. Take the first step. Go try and figure it out, and just don't wait. So, but before, hold on. I was about to wrap that up, but I got to make sure I hit this point real quick. The feelings that we have whenever we step into these spaces are valid. They are valid. If you're feeling timid, if you're feeling nervous, if you're feeling scared, that's real. That's real. I don't want to escape past that and be like, nah, you shouldn't fear no fear. Like, go forth and slap that fear in the face. No. I believe that it's true to identify with those things and to recognize when they are coming up and rising us within us, right? What I hope we do is not stay in that. I hope we don't stay in that fear. I hope we don't stay in those feelings and stay in those moments, because we'll continue to paralyze ourselves and not take those steps forward. So my desire, my hope for you, as I'm just, I'm telling myself this, is that I'm identifying with the feelings that I have and just working to have that positive self-talk and even just write down, okay, so what is the first step I need to take in order to step into this space? Like the grand idea of being a TEDx speaker is probably wild, right? Like, I mean, it's wild. Yes, it's not that wild because people are doing it all the time and people are killing it all the time. And that's awesome. But to be a TEDx speaker, for example, is a pretty cool and pretty awesome goal. But the first step that I need to take if I want to do that for myself is practice my speaking, right? My speeches, develop my message, develop my cadence, work the craft, work the message, work the skill so that when the opportunity does come, I will be ready. And that's wild because I think I just put out my first goal I actually verbally said the goal that I wanted to have, which is really weird. So if somebody's listening to this in a couple of years and be like, yeah, Ray, what's up? I remember that one episode. Yeah, anyway. So what's up to change that to you or to put the lens on you? I just really hope that you have the moment to take that first step, to identify the fear, take that first step and move into that space. And don't compare yourself as well to the chapters that other people are on compared to yours. And what I mean by that is, I've said it, I've read it before that you can't judge your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 20. Like you can't judge your first step to somebody else's marathon. Like you sure you can look at those things and be like, wow, that's inspirational. Wow, that motivates me. That encourages me to take action. But if you then compare yourself or you judge them or you judge yourself and be like, beat yourself up that like you're not there yet, that's not the goal. That's not the purpose. The purpose is to see other people's stories, to see other people's journeys, to see their grind and see it as an inspiration for you to be on yours, to be on your grind and identify what that looks like for you. Not to say that my journey has to look exactly like yours or vice versa, but what can we do together to understand what the journeys are and be able to step into that with one another with encouragement and be like, yo, I see you. Go after it. Get yours. Or, yo, I see you. How can I help you? Like how can we support one another in these spaces? Because that's most important in life. We got one of these. We got one of these physical lives living with us today. Let's make it happen. Stop waiting until January 1st. Start now. Maybe not now because it's Christmas Day. If you listen to this live, spend time with your family. But take the moment, go after it today. Sorry for being some repetitive. Actually, I'm not sorry. I'm going at it right now. I'm going in because I'm just feeling good about this situation, this topic. I just want us to stop waiting. And I'm telling myself this so I can tell you this so that we can stop waiting together and we can stop tripping on the things that are hanging us up, which is a great segue. At the beginning of 2020, in January, we're going to kick off a new series called Stop Tripping. Stop Tripping. And essentially, it's all the hangups that are really getting in our way from taking action in what we want to accomplish. And by we, yeah, I'm saying me. So there's a couple topics that I want to share to be able to, that I know that's hung me up in the past and even in the immediate past of that just hangs me up or hung me up from getting started on my action and goals. And I just want to share that with you to hopefully give you some context and give you some handles. So if you're experiencing the same hangups, if you're experiencing the things that are tripping you up, that you also have some opportunity to navigate that and work through that. And if anything, you can help me out. Help me out and navigate and work through these things, and we can work through them together. So new series is dropping now, essentially, but it will continue forward in the month of January titled Stop Tripping. And I'm super excited for it. And I'm excited for you to take a listen to it as you prepare yourselves for the goals that you started out towards, not just for year 2020, but just in life or just the next first quarter or just the first month, taking opportunities to step into the goals that you set for yourself. So if you haven't checked out On the Mic with Ray before, welcome. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to this video. I got a little fired up today, but I'm excited for you to check this out. Be sure to go to the social media page, our at OTM Podcast. Check us out there on Instagram. You find us there. We got some great content coming for you, including some video, including some audio, including some just other stuff. I'm super excited for that. And then be sure to also check me out at my personal page at Ray Devante. You can find that on Instagram and Twitter. And let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about this topic. Let me know what are some of the things that are tripping you up from taking action. And more specifically, what are you waiting for? What are you waiting for when it comes to the things, when it comes to the goals, action, dreams that you want to take action on in this upcoming year? Shoot, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait. Take the action today and work with other people, work with one another in community to guide us, to give us some encouragement to take steps into that space. Thanks so much. Thank you for listening and continue to share the show. Peace.